So the reason, okay, first off, let's start at the beginning. My name is Mrs. Barfield. I was the librarian at Montgomery Elementary School for a couple of years. I've also taught 4th grade for 15.
Are you volunteering?
Okay. I am volunteering today as I have my very fancy volunteer badge.
So where's the other
And so, No,
you
that's
said
it.
you're recording it on two
Right there.
different things.
It's right there. So the reason I'm recording this is because I am taking master's classes. So I graduated from college a long time ago, and now I'm going back to college to get my master's degree. And so I have to record a lesson, and so that's what I'm doing. So it's actually, I know you're in math class, it's going to be a little different. I'm going to do some reading stuff with you, and then I'm going to talk to you about some library stuff. So Ms. Sample, your librarian, is helping me get my classwork done. So I knew Miss Dennison. I taught with Miss Pizzino years ago too when we were at MIS together. So it worked out perfectly that I hijack her class and teach y'all something today. Okay? So that's why it's being recorded, and that's who I am. So I'm very excited about being here. I have a great job. I work at Region 6 in Huntsville. So I get to go around to different schools. But the biggest bummer is I don't really get to teach kids. So today is like my favorite day of work. So I'm like, with kids today, yay. So I've really missed all this. So today, we're going to talk about something you need to talk about in language arts. And I'm going to show you some cool things that you can use for all subjects. Math, science, social studies, language arts, all kinds of things, okay? You're going to start out here on the floor. And then in a little while, you're going to go to the computers, and I want you to do some exploring on some different databases that I'm going to show you today. Okay? All right. So to start it off, we're going to look at a little PowerPoint presentation about tricksters. How many of you, here we go. How many of you like to read stories where there's a character that causes trouble? I like to watch. Those are my kind of things. So tricksters are characters in a story, okay? So we're going to talk about those specific kind of tricksters. Because the smart board's not working, I'm going to have to kind of walk back and forth, but that's okay. So what is a trickster? A trickster is a clever animal or a person in a story who plays a trick on other characters, causing them problems, or the character uses a trick to solve a problem that they have. So tricksters can make trouble for other people, or tricksters can be helping figure out a problem that they have. Okay? What is a trickster like? Well, they think they're smarter than all of the other characters, okay, and that they will never get caught. They think they're never going to get caught. They have character flaws, such as being too greedy or too proud of themselves. When you think about like the tortoise and the hare in that little race, and that tortoise is going so slow, and the rabbit's so fast, and he thinks, come on, there's no way I'm not going to win this race. I'm going to take a little nap and rest myself up. And here comes that little slow tortoise moving along. That rabbit was too boastful. He thought too much of himself and thought, I can never lose this race. Even their tricks, if their trick doesn't work out, tricksters often do not learn lessons from their own mistakes. You can learn a lesson from them, but a lot of times the tricksters don't learn a lesson themselves. Okay, so what are the characteristics of tricksters in stories? Most of the time they're going to be folk tales. And folk tales are passed down through many generations. I know y'all do a unit in 3rd grade. Folk tales, folklores, fables, fairy tales, all that good stuff. When you read a folk tale, it often sounds like it's someone speaking out loud. And that's because that's how the author heard the story. So for years and years and years, no one ever wrote that story down. They just remembered it. And so when someone finally does write it down, it's because they hear the story being told and they write it from there. It moves very fast, not a lot of details, and the ending comes quickly, and the other characters can learn a lesson or a moral from the story. All right, some famous tricksters. Brer Rabbit. Brer Rabbit is a trickster in the southern United States, and he often gets in trouble as Brer Fox tried to catch him to eat him. And so Briar Rabbit has to use his tricks to get out of it. I'm going to show you a little video here. I have a video pulled up on this side. Let's see if I can get it to play. This video is a cartoon from 1946. Long time ago. Long time ago. And this, if you've ever been to Disney and you've ridden Splash Mountain, the whole little story that goes on inside the ride is this character. So we're going to watch this and see how he is a trickster.
Whatever you do, Brother Fox, whatever you do, please, Brother Fox, please don't trick me in that Briar Patch. Briar Patch? Briar Patch. I'm glad I thought of that. Yes, indeed, I sure am glad I thought of that. But you ain't gonna bring me in there, is you? Me? Oh, no. We ain't gonna do that. No, sir. We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that, Papa. Yeah. We ain't gonna take that child in there. No. You just gonna knock his head clean off. Oh, no, indeed. Look how to take that hand. No, it's not. Yes, sir, Brother Fox. I was born and bred in the Briar Patch. Yes, sir. Born and bred in the Briar Patch. Born and bred in the Briar Patch.
So did that hurt him like the
Whatever you do,
Absolutely not. He was born and bred there. He was raised there. He knew if he got thrown into the Briar Patch, it wouldn't hurt him at all. And so that's the trick he played. He wanted to get away from the fox, and so he tricks him into saying, that's the scariest place, that's the worst place, that's worse than even if you eat me, don't throw me in there. And he throws him in there. Got away. Okay? So that is one example of a trickster. Here's another example. I don't have a video for this one, but Asani the spider is a trickster who originates in West Africa, and he uses his wits and tricks to get what he wants. His tricks don't often work out the way he hopes, and sometimes the spider even appears as a man. The story I think of when I think of Asani is, okay, so he's this spider, and he gets this gourd, like a pumpkin kind of, but they're kind of shaped like that. You know those weird looking pumpkins you'll see in Walmart? And you hollow them out. And so he says, I want to be the wisest spider in all the land. And so he goes and he takes this gourd and he asks people, what wise advice do you have? And they talk into the gourd. He stops it up. What about you? And he goes to the town people and all of them speak their wisdom into the gourd. And he puts a stopper on it and he says, I'm going to keep this wisdom all for myself. I'm going to be the wisest spider ever. So he goes, I got to put it in a safe place. So I'm going to put it in the top of this tree, but he's got 8 legs, but he can't carry the gourd and climb the tree at the same time. So his son comes up to him and says, well, Dad, why don't you just tie it to your back? And you can climb up the tree. And he goes, oh, more wisdom. But then he realizes, well, wisdom's best when it's shared with other people. What good is it to be wise if nobody knows you're wise? Because you're not sharing any of your wisdom. So he climbs to the top of the tree, and he opens the gourd, and he releases the wisdom for everyone to use. Folks, y'all right? Story passed down from generation to generation. But Asani is a trickster, and it didn't work out the way he thought it would.
That looks creepy.
A little bit creepy. Sometimes artists use more traditional art based on where this is from, and this is West Africa. So the art may look a little bit different. Coyotes.
Oh.
Coyotes are tricksters in the Native American culture. And though the coyote is a trickster, we can learn important lessons through his tricks.
My cat
Now-
died from
Oh no, yeah, they can be quite destructive. This is an example of a trickster coyote. I'm not going to read this to you, but I do want you to see. This coyote decides he is going to shoot arrows to the moon, and he's going to make a big ladder. So he makes this big ladder and he crawls up, and when he gets up there, he realizes that if he shoots his arrow, a star appears in the sky. So at first he thinks, I'm just going to make a coyote in the sky. But then he starts thinking, he's like, well, you know what? I have a lot of great friends. I know a bear. I'm going to make a bear. And I know an owl, and I know a fish. And so he puts all the animals in the night sky, and then they're all very appreciative of him. So he was originally going to just be the coyote in the sky. But then, kind of like Asani, his tale turns out differently, and things are better when you share them with others, and everyone really enjoyed seeing themselves in the stars.
Oh, Bugs Bunny!
This is a modern trickster, and it's my personal favorite. I still, as an adult, will sit down and watch Bugs Bunny and laugh, just like I always have. Bugs Bunny uses his wits to outsmart Elmer Fudd or anybody else to get what he wants. And so I have a short video for you to show you this trickster trickster rabbit. Okay.
It is forever a case of it's rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season. I say it's duck season, and I say fire.
Duck season.
Let's try that again. Okay, I'll start it this time. Right. Rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Rabbit season. Duck season. Fire. Okay, this time you start it. Whatever you say. Rabbit. Duck. Fire. Hey, what's the matter with you anyway? Don't you even know a rabbit when you see one? It's true, Doc. I'm a rabbit, all right. Would you like to shoot me now or wait till you get home? Shoot him now! Shoot him now! You keep out of this. He doesn't have to shoot you now. He just so has to shoot me now. I command that you shoot me now.
Alright. So that is a tale of a trickster, my favorite one. And so that's some examples. Now we're gonna get tricky. Now, I have a story for you that I'm gonna read the whole thing. Now, I have lots of stories because I always like to show examples. We looked at this one. The Magic Fish is a really cool little story. With a little trickster in it. Rumpelstiltskin. Catch that goat. Catch that goat. She keeps running through the town. And a lot of these have multicultural roots. So like, this one is an Nigerian story. And this little girl keeps running through the town and she's like, I can't find my goat. Do you know where my goat is? And they're like, no, but one of my chickens is missing. And they're like, no, but one of my sunglasses is missing. That's weird. No, but one of my dresses is missing. This lady's like, no, but one of my kids is missing. My whole child's gone. Have you seen my child? A handbag is missing. And then they finally find the goat. And of course, that trickster goat has got all the stuff, including the child, who has been chasing him.
I couldn't see the child. Oh.
It was right that one.
Dang, I did.
And the mom's like, my son! Yay, found him.
Hey, my son? What?
Jack and the Beanstalk is a trickster story. Fables. Whenever you see a book with fables, you think, oh, that's a small picture, but it actually has a table of contents, and this is made up of a lot of short stories. So fables are normally very short. So we have something called The Crocodile in the Bedroom, and it's just a page. That's the whole story. That's the whole fable. The Ducks and the Fox. Okay? A lot of times we see foxes, and they're cunning and tricky. Here's one. Where's the Big Bad Wolf? Okay, so Big Bad Wolf can also be considered a trickster, but today I'm going to share with you this story. It's called Babushka's Doll. And the reason I picked this is for a couple of reasons. One, it's written and illustrated by the wonderful Patricia Polacco. Lots of Patricia Polacco books in your library. Another reason is because it's Grandparents' Week. And this is a story. It's a Russian tale, so again, multicultural. And it talks about grandparents. So this is Babushka's Doll. So I want y'all to sit still and be great listeners for me. It wasn't that Natasha was a truly naughty child. She just never understood why she had to wait for things. Babushka, Natasha said, for in Russian, Babushka means grandmother. Please stop doing the laundry and push me in the swing. My darling child, Babushka said, I have to do the laundry first. Would you like to help me? No, said Natasha. I want to swing now. Aren't you finished yet? I want to go for a ride in the go-kart. My precious, Babushka said, I must hang these clothes while the sun is still shining. But the sun will be shining all day. I want to go now, Babushka. Take me. Babushka went to feed the goats. Natasha followed. But I'm hungry too, Babushka. My stomach is making noises. I want to eat now. Don't be selfish, darling, said Babushka. These poor creatures need to be fed. They cannot fix their own lunches.
Why don't you go fix your own lunch?
Now I'm finished, said Babushka. And now we will have lunch. She took a kettle down from a high shelf. Natasha looked up on the shelf where the kettle had been, and there was a little doll that she had never seen before. Is that your doll, Babushka? She asked. Yes, dear, it was my doll when I was a little girl like you. Did you play with her every day? Asked Natasha. Oh, my dear, no. I played with her only once. Only once. I have finished my soup now, said Natasha. May I hold the little doll just for a little while? Babushka got the doll down from a high shelf. Yes, it is just the right time for you to play with her, said Babushka. She handed the doll to Natasha. I am going to the store for groceries, she said. You may play with the doll until I get back. As soon as the door closed behind Natasha's grandmother, something happened. The little doll began to move. And she jumped to her feet and she did a little dance. And for a moment, Natasha was a bit frightened. But then the doll called out, Come on, Tasha, let's go out and play.
Okay, that's kind of cute. Yeah.
Natasha and the doll ran and ran until Natasha could run no more. And as soon as Natasha sat down to catch her breath, the doll said, Get up, Tasha. You got to get up now. I want to play. I'll swing you on the swing, Natasha said. Whee! The doll squealed. Push harder. I want to go higher. Natasha pushed the doll higher and higher. Soon she grew tired. Don't stop, Tasha, cried the doll. Don't stop. I want you to swing me higher.
It sounds like her. Sounds like a lot like her.
Okay, I'll take you for a ride in the go-kart, Natasha said. Oh, goody, Tasha, the doll chirped. And don't you slow down. You better keep going as long as I want. Do you hear me? As long as I want.
I can see why she quit. Dad, I can see why she only played with it once.
Soon, Natasha couldn't lead the go-kart any longer. I have to stop, said Natasha. I need to rest. Oh, now I want to eat, said the doll.
What?
Poor Natasha was very tired, but she tried her best to make lunch. And Babushka's doll spilled the tea. And she sloshed soup from her spoon and she flung noodles on her head. And then she pounded her fist in the mess and laughed and laughed.
That's why I see
Suddenly, she stopped laughing and started to scream. My dress, Tasha! It's all dirty! I want you to wash it! You must wash it right now! Natasha washed the little dress and hung it on the line, and then she ironed it and the doll put it on. You didn't do it right, said the doll. My dress is all wrinkled. And Natasha began to cry. I'm just a little girl, she said between sobs. I wish you were just a doll.
I can see why she only played with it
My
once.
darling girl, a voice called out. Why are you crying, precious child? Babushka, Natasha sobbed. Your little doll, it came to life and she was very naughty and all she wanted to do was make me work. She never let me rest. She made me iron her dress and I don't even know how. I'm just a little girl. There, Babushka said. You must have had a bad dream. Maybe, said Natasha. Her grandmother smiled and held Natasha closer. From now on, you can play with that little doll anytime you want to. No, thanks, Babushka said. But Natasha said, once is enough.
That's why she only played with it once.
Babushka picked up the little doll and put her back high on the shelf. It looks like you've had quite a day. And she said softly, the little doll gave Babushka a wink and went back to being just a doll. And Natasha turned out to be quite nice after all.
That was creepy. Very creepy.
So let me ask you a question, because originally when I started reading the story the first time, I thought who the trickster was going to be, and then my idea changed on who the trickster actually was. Who do you think the trickster in this story is?
I thought it was going to be the little girl.
You thought it was going to be the little girl. Was it? Mm-mm. Who ended up being the trickster? Who ended up being the trickster? Babushka was the trickster. The little doll made the mess and she did it all. But who made that little doll seem just simply irresistible for Natasha to play with? Babushka did all of that. So Babushka, the grandmother, was the trickster. And she wasn't a trickster like Bugs Bunny to get someone else in trouble or to get someone else hurt. She was the trickster to solve a problem.
Of her.
What was Babushka's problem?
The girl was being too selfish.
Way too selfish. And did the little girl learn a lesson?
Yes.
Yes, she did. Can you learn a lesson from this book?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Respect your grandparents and don't be too selfish. Slow down. So this is an example of a trickster tale, and like I said, that was Russian. The characters were Russian, and that Babushka means Russian Babushka in Russian means grandmother. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you some different databases. And I'm going to show you up here. And then after I show you all of them, then you're going to go to computers. And first off, we have to get logged on. And that could prove to be a challenge. Because y'all haven't gotten logged on before.
Yeah,
Miss
we
Dennison?
Yeah, we have.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we
If you have, great. If you haven't, Miss Dennison probably fixed it for you, okay? But first, let's look at some of the different databases that you have available here in your school. All right, to get there first, you're going to go to the MISD website, misd.org. And when you go to the MISD website, this is the district website, wait just a sec, you're going to click on schools, okay? Schools, when you get to schools, you're going to click on your elementary school, Lone Star Elementary, which is the first one. And here is where you can get to all your school information. You can get to Miss Dennison and Miss Pizzino's websites, but we're going to focus on the library site today. Okay, so you click on where it says library and you're going to see Miss Sample. So here's all the different things that Miss Sample has available to you. If you want to go home and you think, I wonder if we have this particular book in the library, you can pull up the Destiny Library catalog and search and see if you have it. Let's say you want to join the birthday book club. All the information's there. But today, we're going to look at the resources tab. And the smart board isn't working, so that's why I have to keep coming back over here. Now, there are a lot of resources here for you to use. We're going to talk about 3 of them today, okay? Now, the great thing about these is that the school district pays for you to use them. And you can use them at school, and when you use them at school, it knows you're at school, it knows you paid for it. You can get right in. If you go home and use these, you have to have a username and password, which I'm going to give you today. But you can still use these at home. So we're going to look at EBSCO, Britannica, and Kids Info Bits. So I'm going to start with EBSCO. EBSCO is ebooks. And when you get here, you're going to click, there's a lot of words, there's not a lot of pictures, I don't like that. But here it says K8 ebook search. You see where I am right up here? I'm going to click on that. This has ebooks. So if you're at home and you have to do a reading log or something like that, and you think, oh my goodness gracious, here, will you go open the door for Miss Pizzino, please? When you get on there and you think, oh man, I have to read and I didn't bring my book home, you can go to EBSCO and pull up a book and read it. Super easy. So we're going to search today, and we're going to look at tricksters. And sometimes I've even misspelled it, and it still pops up. It's so smart, it knows what I'm meant to say. These are different books that have tricksters as the characters. I think it's that one right there. Okay. These are kind of cute, the tricky foxtails. So if you want to read something, see where it says PDF full text? You click on it, and then the book pops up. Now, the book is too big, so I'm going to come down here to zoom. You see that in the bottom corner? And I'm going to hit that minus sign until I can see the book. There we go. And then I can turn the pages. So this is Tricky the Fox. So if you scroll through, you have all the parts of a book. You have your copyright page. This is an introduction. Here the book starts. And then look, it looks like a comic. It's a graphic novel. And you can click through. What I like about these books is it's a choose your own adventure. So if you want the fox to talk to Roxy, talk Roxy into being nicer, you click down here and go to page 46 and hit enter. And then it tells you what to read. But if you don't, if you want the fox to try to trick Roxy, then you go to a different page in the book. So it's like a choose your own adventure kind of thing.
Oh, yes, I like that.
So that's EBSCO. Now you see I have tabs up here. I can click the back arrow and go back to my page with the different tricksters, okay? But I'm going to come up here back to the in Montgomery Lone Star Elementary page. And when I come here, I click back on library. And then what do I click from here? Resources. Excellent. I'm going to scroll over to Britannica. Britannica is an encyclopedia online. Encyclopedias have all information about practically everything. They're great. It's going to give you facts, okay? We're going to click on the elementary. Even if you think that I am a brilliant reader and I shall read at a 12th grade level, let's still click on elementary, okay? And so when you get here, these are some of the different features of the encyclopedia. They have a short video. They have, this is all about a volcano erupting in Pompeii. This is another feature. You can come down here if you really like biographies. You can click on that. If you really like animals, you can click there. If you're studying something for science, you can click there. But I'm going to come up here and search, and what do you think I'm going to search? Tricksters. And here are the different articles that it has. So it has different reading levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. We're going to look at a level 1 today. Okay? You don't always have to look at a level 1, but I just want to show you how this is set up. So this is about folk tales. So when I click on what's in blue, it gives me an introduction. And if I come down here, it can give me more information about fables, more information about fairy tales. And anytime I see something in blue, I can click on it. And it will take me to another article. So if I don't know what's the difference between Hans Christian Andersen and the Grimm brothers? Who wrote what fairy tale? You can click on it and it will come up. There's also information you can email it to yourself or to your teacher. If you're studying something and you think, this would be great for my teacher to know, you can email it to them. Then I'm going to come back over here to Montgomery and I'm going to click on what? Library. And I'm going to click on what?
Resources.
Resources. And then the last one we're going to look at, Kids Info Bits. Now when you get to Kids Info Bits, it starts out with a lot of pictures. These are categories that you can search, similar to the Britannica: animals, music and movies. There's sports. But we're going to search. What do you think I'm going to search? Tricksters. Because that's what we're talking about today. And I'm going to search it. And then this particular database searches books, magazine articles, and newspaper articles.
Hey, look, there's the NC
And sometimes you'll even see like videos over here.
There's an NC right there.
Yes, we talked about that spider, right? So if I click on this, now see how now it gives me a lot of information, but the pictures are omitted. So seeing this, what do you think omitted means? It says illustration omitted. What does that mean?
Not available.
Not available, taken out.
No illustration.
No illustration. So there's nothing there, but it does go through and give you the story. Okay? So some people really like Kids Info Bits because it does give you the important information. Some people may not because they want more pictures with it. Some articles may have pictures, some may not. Okay? If you get to something and you're searching around and you think, oh, I want to save that for later, but it's time for us to go to lunch, so I got to stop. You can hit this little bookmark and it'll save the article for you, so you don't have to go back and go, where did I find that? And it saves for you. So there's some really nice features in Kids Info Bits as well. Now, I'm going to share with you something that's not on Miss Sample's resource page, but because of where I work, I just found out that this great website, do y'all remember using Pebble Go?
Yes.
Okay, the makers of Pebble Go have this other super fantastic website. And they are giving it to every kid in the state of Texas for free until January. And so I want to show you how to get on that, and I'm going to give that information to Miss Dennison. But it's called www.myon.com. Okay? MyOn. I have no idea where they got that name. That's not important. You're going to log in, and instead of putting in your school information, you're going to put in Texas Strong. And then your username is MyOn. Just like the website, the password is MyOn. And you can use this anywhere on any computer. Oh, did it not do right? There we go. And you might say, okay, I didn't open K9 Police Dogs last. It says most recently. Remember, everyone who's using this account is using, it's all together. So what you can do is you can search books. Now, I'm so excited about this. When you come here and let's say you look at Jake Maddox books. I don't know if y'all love those as much as I do. 114 of his books are on this website for you to look at for free. So if you go to the library and you say, oh my gosh, I want to read linebacker block so bad, and you click on it, it's right there. Look at this. Start over. I just want you to get this.
Linebacker Block by Jake Maddox.
It's really loud.
Illustrated by Sean Tiffany.
So look how cool. And then look. So let's say I'm going to go to page 1.
Chapter 1. Home Alone. The sun was going down on a Saturday evening in Westfield.
I don't like it when the words
Most of the
highlight.
8th graders were out with their friends down at Taco Paco's at the movie theater on the
You can
north.
even make him hush all together and just read it yourself. But I do like the way it's read because it does not sound like a robot is reading it to you. Sounds like a real person's reading you a story. And it has all the pictures and everything. It has all of the Kylie Jean books. Kylie Jean, Recess Queens. Love Kylie Jean. It's got all kinds of books on here. Picture books, Spanish books. But one of the coolest features that this site has, oops, if I can get out of it, let's see, home, is every day, every single day, this is updated. It's like a news magazine right here for you. So let's say we've got a lot of information about Harvey, but we haven't maybe seen as much information about Hurricane Irma. You can click on that.
The new iPhone
And
X.
tomorrow, yeah, new iPhone X, there's Fashion Week and sports. It will even translate it into Spanish for you.
Hola.
You can click on the Hola tab. It will read it to you, or it will translate the text. It makes the text bigger or smaller. Let's say you don't really know where Florida is. Click on the map. Boom, right there. It tells you the setting of every article written. If you want to see a little bit of a video, this is what's going on after the storm in Miami, Florida. This is what Miami looks like. Palm tree down. Then, of course, it tells you the article. And if you see something in blue, let's say I have no idea what this word is.
Evacuees.
Evacuees. People who leave to say stay safe. Okay? So this is, if you like this article, here are some books you may want to read about. But this is updated every single day. This is one of the best websites I have ever seen for both fiction and nonfiction, fact and story, all together, and it's brand new every day, and y'all get it for free until January. Okay? So, what we're going to do today for our assignment is we are going to do this little chart. That's why I had you bring a pencil. So on this chart, this is basically for you to let me know what you like about a site. If you don't like something about a site, it's okay. I didn't make these. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It does not hurt my feelings if you think, you know what, I do not like EBSCO. There is too much written there and I can't figure out. It is not user-friendly. Okay, tell me that. You don't have to write. These are just notes. So I'm not looking at this for spelling and capitalization and punctuation. I just want to see what you're thinking. So what you're going to do is you're going to write your name at the top. And then what do you like about, like here's EBSCO. What did you like about it? If you like something, if you like more than one thing, you can put it. If you don't, you can put pictures, like the pictures. I don't like the way the story is read. It sounds like a robot. Okay? Whatever you want to say there. What you like, what you don't like. How could this site help you in the future? Not just right now, today. These are sites you have access to all the time. So how will that help you? And then over here, I want you to do the same thing I did up here, and I want you to type in Trickster. You're going to click on EBSCO, and you're going to type in Trickster and say, what is something you can learn about them from this site? Because some sites have just stories, some sites have facts, okay? So you're going to tell me some things. You can maybe read a magazine article. You don't have to read it all, but that's the kind of information you can learn here, okay? So you're doing it for EBSCO, Britannica, and Kids Info Bits. And you have to go there when you get on the computer. You're going to go to the internet. You're going to go to misd.org. You're going to click on, it was over here, remember, schools. Click on Lone Star Elementary and then Library, and then Resources. Okay, and it's these three: Britannica, EBSCO, and Kids Info Bits. You can do them in any order. Okay, you're just going to jot down something. Okay. If you have a question while you're working on this, let me know. If there's a listen button on something, listen. See if you like it. Okay? I want you to explore these sites very quietly. You are going to go to a computer. You're going to hit Control-Alt-Delete. Your username is that capital S and your lunch number. Your password is the number 4 for 4th grade and your lunch number again. Okay? Let's try this. Stand up, walk because you have pencils. Go to a spot. I don't even know if there's a pencil sharpener right here. Is there a pencil sharpener in here? Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm not even seeing a see a pen. See a map pencil. Oh, that one's kind of, sort of. Here, kind of use that one. See if you can, and then I'll keep an eye out. Okay? Oh. There's one that's a little bit better for him. Okay, control. Oh, no, that one's on. Okay, give it just a minute. Here, I'm going to move these out of your way. Let's see if this works. Fingers. Oh. Okay, so. Capital S. Here, you're in password. Let's go to use
Your lunch number.
button down. Put capital S. Press it down and hit F. And then go. And your number. Yes, ma'am. Number 4. And your lunch number. Let me see you do it again. Turn down to password. Oh. Okay. Turn down to password and click number 4. And your lunch number. And
I don't have
and let's see. It says welcome. Let's see if it works. Good. Now you're at the internet. And see some things. I'm using 2 different recording devices.
What if it already shows it?
Yes, now you click on schools. Do you see where schools is? Lone Star Elementary. Perfect. How is it coming over here? Were you able to get in? Do the number 4 and your lunch number. You can search other things as well. I just want you to be able to go back. Now I'm going to pass out that paper for you. Yes, sir. You're on? Super. Now you're going to start clicking on one of those. Here's your paper. Here you go. Are y'all ready to start writing some things down? Here you go. You have 2. Would you hand one to him? For some reason, it was not coming apart for me. There you go. It finally got on for you. Here you go. Great. Here you go.
I like the type.
You can look at that after you look at those 3 things. Okay, I want you to see the ones that you will pay for.
Bottom
And then
bottom
you can
E.
explore that one.
Okay, I'm not gonna do brand. Whatever this one is. Santa Claus.
You gotta go to the internet. See the E at the bottom?
Blue E.
If you click here, it will make it as big as the screen. Schools. Now click on those. Where are you supposed to go now?
Okay, so scroll up. And you go to resources right there. Good.
Okay, we're not gonna have to.
Yes, I do, and I'm done. I can stop videoing. And they don't have to fill